Hello everybody, welcome back to Book Bar and welcome to my June TBR. So June is the month of Whatever-a-thon or Whatever-a-thon, which is hosted by Maddie from Book Browsing Blog. And I participated last year and I really enjoyed it because I like readathons where you can read whatever you want. And this one has a bingo board and everything, and I should be able to get a couple bingos, probably even a blackout, but I'm not really focused on that. It's more of just reading whatever you can read, and you get points the more books you read. So I am on Team Beach Readers, which is the team with Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy, Steph from Steph Loves India from What India Read, and Ashley from A Frolic the Fiction, I believe. I'll link them all down below. But I pledged 15 books, so I have to read at least 15 books this month, which, if you've been keeping up with me, I've been reading about a book a day, so 15 is not out of the norm. I have been feeling a little, more slumpy lately. Not necessarily slumpy, I'm still reading a lot, just I've been kind of, wanting to, take a break and take a pause on, reading so many crazy books. But on the bingo board, these are the challenges that there are. There is to find a book with the, an, of, a, and. You don't have to have all of them, it just has one of them. And so, not hard to find. A book under 300 pages. Thankfully, a lot of indie pub romances are under 300, so that's great. On a previous TBR. Favorite genre. I rarely read outside of my favorite genre. So, different format. I think that means, reading it on, a format that you don't normally read. So, which is hard for me because I do generally read all of them. But I guess physical is probably the one I read the least of. I could also find, a graphic novel to read. There are a few that I really want to read, like Lore Olympus and a couple other ones. So I could pick up a graphic novel, which would be a different format. One word title. Oh, I do have one on here. Host fave, which there's a graphic with all the favorites from all the hosts. Continuous series. Last letter, first letter. So the last letter of the book that you read last has to start with the book that you read first. So, or that you're reading next. So, we're reading The Duchess Deal, right? It ends with an L. Then I can read Lady Gets Lucky, which I know technically it's The Lady Gets Lucky, but we're just gonna say because Lady Gets Lucky starts with an L. Then a poll pick, so I'll probably just post a poll on Instagram and do that. A 2021 release and your least read genre. There's also a dark romance, a summer thriller, a political fantasy, and I guess that's it. Oh, and water on the cover, I think. And then there was pick a book with the blank on the cover, which is I ended up getting turquoise as my color on my random color generator. And I have a couple turquoise books. So, but yeah, so my mandatory reads are, I am finally going to be finishing my Lisa Kleypas reading her books. And so we will be reading Devil in Disguise. We're supposed to read this we're supposed to be starting it this week, the last week of May, last full week, but really, some stuff happened and my group and I agreed that we could move it. So we're actually going to be starting this and discussing it the first Sunday in June. So I'll probably just wait and start it in June. Then for the SJM-Along, we are reading Queen of Shadows. This is the first month that we are only reading one book. All the other months, the other 2 months, we've had 2 books. So this one we're doing Queen of Shadows and whatever the next novella is. I can't think of what it is, but I'll put a little picture here. But yeah, so we're reading Queen of Shadows, which is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. Then the Rake Appreciation Society, they're reading Love and War by Sherilyn. If I can find this, I will probably pick it up because it sounds really good. It's a newer historical, it takes place in the 1940s. So it's a newer historical in terms of time period. Then the Historical Hellions is reading Annie's Song, which I have already read, so I can still participate. That's by Katherine Anderson. Then the cover to cover, And so Rake Appreciation Society is hosted by Jenn from the Book Refuge and Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life. Historical Hellions is hosted by Jess from Peace Love Books and Samantha from Books with Samantha. And then the Cover to Cover Book Club, which is hosted by Tori from Novel Life and Sam from Sam Reads a Little. They're reading Falls Boys by Penelope Douglas. I haven't decided if I'm going to read this yet or not, but I'm putting it on here. And yeah. And then I don't know what the officially unofficial book club, which is the Late Night Crew Book Club, Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy, Rye from Rye's Reading Corner, and Mel from Eleanor Reads do that. I think it's a fantasy novel, but I don't know what it is yet. They haven't announced it. So I will probably be reading that if I can find a way to get it. And then I'm trying, obviously, so I have my 2021 Rewind. So I'm reading the 12 books that I liked the best in 2021. I'm reading one a month. So next month will be the Duchess deal. And I have the beautiful stepback version of this book, the Duchess deal by Tessa Dare. Loved this book, so we'll be reading that one. Then my 22 books to read in 2022. I'm going to be picking up Never Seduce a Scot by Maya Banks. Because yeah, I really want to read this. It's been on my radar, and I just like, look at that cover. It's so gorgeous. So I want to read that one. And then I also want to read Nevermore, The Tales of Morgan Crowe, I think is what it is, by Jessica Townsend. It's a middle grade that a lot of people really seem to enjoy. It has trials and everything, so I'm excited. Sometimes I just want, especially, I feel like in summertime, I want to read like fun middle grades like this. And I'm thinking, so I have a niece who's going into 3rd grade, and she's really good, like she really likes to read. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna read it and kind of like annotate it for her, and then give it to her and ask her to kind of like ask questions in the book, and have her read it as well, just to kind of keep her reading for the summer, because you know, summertime. So those are my like required reading, like books that like I really want to get to, like really, you know, top tier priorities. And then I'm also trying to be better about using my subscriptions that I have. So like I pay for AnyPlay and Audible Plus and Kindle Unlimited. And then I also use my library all the time. So my KU book that I want to read is Inked in Lies by Jenna Darling. This is the 5th book in the Fallen Men series. So it's kind of a dark motorcycle club romance. So fits dark romance, but I do want to continue that series, especially because Caution to the Wind could come out at any time. So I will be reading that one. And then for Audible Plus, I want to read Teach Me by Alexandria House. I read Temper Me, which is like the 3rd book in this series. And they're short, they're like novella length, but they're Black love romances, and they're fun. They're about like people in a college. And Teach Me, I think it's a teacher student, or like a teacher and like a teacher's aide type thing. So age gap. I don't know for sure. We'll see. And then for Libby, I'm going to do my nonfiction pick. I think I'm going to be reading the Ginger Z memoir, like Going Home, I think is what it's called. I'll put it here, as long as I can get it off hold. And then my AnyPlay book, I'm going to be listening to Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I love Kennedy Ryan. I read a couple books from her, and I have loved them all. And so I want to keep reading through her backlist, and this one's on AnyPlay. So the only problem with AnyPlay is you can only listen at 1.75 times speed. It's a longer book, so that's why I've been like holding it off, because it's like a 16-hour audiobook or 13-hour audiobook. And I can only listen to it at 1.75. So that's as fast as I can go. But I'm excited. It's a sports romance. I love sports romances. So, and I love Kennedy Ryan's writing. So I'm going to be reading that one. And then the dark romance that I want to read, I want to continue reading Sophie Lark's Backlist. And so the next book I have to read is Luca. This is the 7th book in the Underworld series. So I will be continuing with that. I don't know much about it. I think it might be Capture Captive, but I don't know for sure. Political fantasy, I'm going to be reading Kingdom of Copper. This is the 2nd book in the David trilogy. I really loved City of Brass. You'll see that in my wrap up next month for May. I really loved it. and I want to continue the series, but I got things I gotta read the rest of this month, so I'm gonna put it off till next month. So that'll be my political fantasy, and I haven't decided Water on the Cover. There's plenty of books. And summer thriller, same thing. I'll probably, I was looking and like James Patterson has written some. I don't do scary. I am not a thriller or horror or any type of person. Like, I don't really like I like more mystery than thriller. And so James Patterson has written a few. So I might like summer mystery, like thrilling books. So I might try to pick one of those up. And then I got this big old stack of books right here. These are just, I'm trying to be better about reading books off my bookshelves. And a lot of like the indie pub ones that I have are on Kindle Unlimited. So even though I own the physicals, I could read them on KU. But I want to read The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shoup. I really am in the minority and really liked the first book in this series, which was The Heiress Hunt. I really enjoyed it, but I've heard that this one is even better. Tori from Novel Life absolutely raves about it. And I know the third book either came out this week or is just coming out this week when I'm filming. Or it's just coming out soon. So I really want to read this because I think it sounds phenomenal. It's Lessons in Seduction, which is like one of my favorite tropes, like teach me trope, love that. So I'm gonna try to get that one. And then because it is summertime, gotta read a beach read, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I really liked beach read last year, and I think I'll like this one. I also am pretty sure my mom will like it, so I do want to read it. This was gifted to me by a friend on Instagram, King Arthur and Megan from King Arthur of Catsonville. But I really want to read this. It's about Poppy and Alex, and they're best friends, and they go on a bunch of vacations. Like, they go on one a year, and then something happens, and they stop going. And then she's like, let's go on one more vacation together. So I do want to read this. I've heard nothing but good things, and yeah. So this one I'm adding. Then I want to read Culty by Mariana Zapata. This is a big boy, but it is an age gap sports romance, which, tell me less. Hate to love. And my library recently just got a lot of Mariana Zapata audiobooks, and Culty was one of them. So I'm really excited because I put this on hold, so it should become available soon. And I really like to like read and listen at the same time. And so, especially with books that are bigger in length. So excited to get to that one. Then these are 3 that I've gotten in like book boxes, and 2 of them are Jenn from the Book Refuge author Rex. And this one, I'm going to an author signing in San Antonio, and this author, Rachel Lee, will be there. So, I mean, I know this book is obviously signed already, but I want to read, you know, I have it. I have this book, His Hollow Heart. I hauled this in a haul. I'll post it up here. But I got this in a book box, and I want to read this one and, you know, hopefully see if I like this author's backlist, and then I can continue, like, read a couple more. I do hate that it is shiny cover, but that's okay. Then the next one is Wake My Heart by Lydia Michaels. This was in that same haul. Jenn from Book Refuge recently read this, and she really enjoyed it. Basically, it's like a second chance. Not really a second chance, but this girl, like, her husband dies, I believe. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this, and this one might be under 300 pages. It is. So yeah. And I believe that this might also be on, like, might have actually just bought it on like an Audible sale, possibly. I could be wrong, but it might be on KU. And then Jenn was also talking about how much she really likes Claire Kingsley. So I want to read Broken Miles because I got this in a book box. This is the Miles Family book 1. And I think that you read the Miles Family and then you go on to her other series, and her other series is better, but I've heard that this one is good too. So I'll want to add, so I'm adding this. Then another book from my 2022 books to read in 2022, The Invisible Life of Addie Laru. This one has mixed reviews, but my best friend's little sister recently read it, and she enjoyed it. So I think I'm gonna try it out, just because, you know, I have it, and like I said, I'm trying to be better about reading my physical TBR. So that is getting added. And then the last book is Run, Rose, Run by Dolly Parton and James Patterson. This, I'm only really adding it because I borrowed it from my aunt's boyfriend and I need to read it. So plus there's water. It's hard to see, but there is a little bit, there's like a lake right here. There's water on the cover. But I need to read it so I can return it because it's not my book to keep. And I don't want to like keep it for a really long time. I'm not about that life. Like when I borrow books, like I want to give them back within like a couple months. But I mean, it's like 400 pages, but I mean, the last couple are like songs and it's big font. So I think I will read this one. It's not my usual genre, but I love Dolly Parton. So, you know, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a try. Might as well, since I have it. But yeah, so those are the books that I have on my TBR for the month of June. Again, like, I'm a mood reader, so these aren't necessarily like things that like I'm like, I have to read these. They are required reading. Nothing is, the only ones that are really required are obviously like book club books, but I'm not even really part of these book clubs. I just like to discuss them. And the only one that I really need to read is Queen of Shadows because I'm actually a co-host for that. So I do want to keep up with that, obviously. And then Devil in Disguise. Those are really the only two books that like I have to read next month. So other than that, that is, yeah. But I mean, it's a big stack here, but it's not completely unforeseen. I will, future me, not me now, because that would take too long. Future me will add up all these pages and let you know how many it is just for these. Plus I'll add Queen of Shadows because I do have to read that one. But I will add up pages for all these and see. I mean, I generally read around 9,000 to 10,000 pages a month. So, and I don't think that this is that, but I'll add them down here, let you know how many this total is, plus Queen of Shadows, because that one I for sure have to read, and let you know if this is doable. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what books from this stack in particular should I prioritize? Like, what are ones that you're like, yes, read that now. I need you to read it. Let me know which ones you think are trash and I don't need to read, because you never know. That's not true. I will still probably read them, especially because I own them. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!